Thanks, Steve, and thanks everyone for your patience today. I know it's been a long day. We just finished meeting with 28 players individually and going through the regular routine to wrap up a season and set up an off-season for them, getting their feedback. And as it relates to the playoffs in the most recent series, the players shared the disappointment that I have and the sense that it was a missed opportunity, and there's a lot of excitement around our team, and don't feel good about having to come in for a day like this. It's never fun to come in. I think that's the one takeaway, the one thing we certainly learned, whether you lose in the first round or the second round, it still sucks, and not a good feeling. So I think that was pretty unanimous throughout the group that we felt we had more hockey in us. That said, clearly it's very difficult to win in the playoffs, and we learned that and saw that through ourselves here. But it's a long day, a day like this, to go through the process of meeting with everybody and send them on their way. But it's a necessary step in the process, and now the off season begins.
Thanks. We'll move to questions. Go ahead, Kevin.
Sheldon, lots of talk of there possibly being a lot of change in the off-season here. You never know, but what's your take of your desire to remain with this team and to keep the core of players that have been around here for a long time together?
Well, I certainly love and appreciate my position and the chance to coach the Toronto Maple Leafs. I've enjoyed every day of it. We've gone through a lot of different things, from COVID and all those different things that we've had to deal with along the way, but certainly love this job and love this opportunity, love this challenge of navigating through and finding a way for our team to win a Stanley Cup. And in terms of the core group and everything, I feel like we've grown a lot together, and while on a day like today, it's really tough to feel or sense any sort of progress, but I do feel we've made progress as a group, and a lot of the disappointment that comes in losing is attached to the excitement that you have for your team and the potential that your team has. And that excitement and that potential, I believe, is still very much there. And I think we feel that. I think we feel, good about the fact that we're able to push through and get to the first round, or get through the first round. Yet you also sense that you're so close, and the margin is so thin to get beyond that. Get from 8 to 4, and ultimately to 2 to 1. That journey you feel close, yet you recognize how far away it is. But coming in today, and especially spending time with the players, the last couple of days for me have been, pretty lonely, and lots of reflection and trying to understand what happened and all of that. And there'll be more time to do that. But getting in today and sitting with the players and speaking with them, you're right back in the fight again, and recognizing that this is, disappointing day here today, but you still have lots of belief in the group.
Luke, from a coaching standpoint, Sheldon, what do you wish you had done differently in the Florida series?
Anytime you lose, you're going to question a lot of different things, and you wish you'd done this or wish you had done that. I wouldn't pinpoint one thing there. Anytime you're coaching a team, you're making hundreds, if not thousands, of decisions a day that impact everything that you're doing, and you're not going to get all those right. And there's some I got wrong for sure. I believe you try to put your team in the best position possible. It's a lot easier to question or to not feel good about your decisions if they don't go right. I also feel like our team was in a lot of good positions to be able to get on the right side of games. Talk about how close the games were, some of the chances that we missed. You're one goal away, or you're one mistake away, or one less mistake away, I should say, or one more save. Margins are so thin But it is, of course, easier to look at things that didn't go your way and question them. I think it's important to trust my instincts and trust the decisions you make, recognizing that you are going to get some wrong. And I'm not perfect. Like every offseason, I'll look to improve and get better. And that's really the goal. I think as much as you're challenging and pushing your players to always be growing and evolving and improving, that's the coach. I'm no different.
Sheldon, if you compare this team to the one that just beat you, is there something that the Panthers had that you think this team was missing? And if so, what is it?
Again, it's a hard question to answer. I'm not going to get too much into Florida specifically, other than to say I think they're a lot better team than their record would show. I mean, they're President's Trophy winner a year ago, and a player like Kachuk coming in, and then they got world-class goaltending in our series. All those things sort of changed their fate a little bit, but obviously. We talked about the fact the series is lost in the first 3 games. Inside those 3 games, for me, it's really in game 2. That's a series-altering game. As much as you want to, go out and win game 3 and try to get both on the road, not getting one at home there was tough. Florida played hard. They defended well, especially later in the series. I thought the game was really wide open. Frankly, we were a little bit. We weren't expecting it to be as open as it was. Frankly, early in the series, the number of clean chances that we had, we didn't have really very many of those in the Tampa series. So we were unable to convert on some of those chances, and you could just see the goaltender's confidence growing from that. And then as the goaltender's confidence grows to that level, a team like Florida, who's already confident, given they just knocked off Boston, they're growing even more inside of that. And so our inability to convert on our chances early in the series, I think, clearly had a dramatic impact.
Sheldon, we all know what your relationship with Kyle. I mean, he elevated you into this role, and you guys have a very close relationship. His contract is up. I wonder if you could speak to what you hope to see happening there, and the impact that obviously it might have on you either way.
Well, obviously, first of all, I think, as you allude to, Kyle and I have a lot of history, and I believe in a lot of the things that he's done here that have put us in a position to succeed. And of course, I'm hopeful that gets worked out, but it's of course out of my hands. And out of respect for him, I've been really kind of left him alone and let him really sort through the things that he needs to sort through, and let the process take care of itself. My job here today, especially, is meeting with the players, is to set them on their path through that. But obviously, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Kyle, not just for what he's done for this organization, but what he's done for me personally, my growth and my development as a coach. In terms of what happens from here, is out of my control.
We'll do 3 more. Mark, Terry, and Lance.
Sheldon, what do you want your players to take away from the season, the progress you felt, and yet the disappointment of how it ended?
Well, you want them to take away the good feeling of finding a way through a very good Tampa team and winning the first round, which has been obviously a major hurdle here for quite some time, but also the sense and the understanding of how difficult it is, and it does not get easier. You knock off a team like Tampa, who sort of felt like the Goliath in our division, and in the Eastern Conference, and then all of a sudden a Florida team comes that's building momentum, and they come in ready and take it from you. So it's how hard it is, how yet you're right there. You talk about it, the process of going from 16 teams to 8 teams, of like 4, like it starts to feel real and tangible. So just stay with it, have no disruptions, stay on the attack, and keep building that momentum. I thought we went into the series a little too guarded and didn't go out and attack it and grab it. And credit to Florida, because they did that, and that's what you expect, is 2 teams to do that. And that's where I think the growth is for our team as we continue to look at how do you get now to take the next step. And it's part of it. And I think the players really feel that. That's really the message. Otherwise, you're just kind of giving them the feedback on their season, and it's the full season, regular season, and the playoffs, and sending them on their way. And as from myself and coaches, we'll go through our process and look to come back and be better.
Terry?
Sheldon, if the core remains the same, what kind of players does it need to help it get over the hump here, do you think? Just some of the additions Kyle made late, I think a lot of us thought those were the right moves. But what does it need, do you think?
Yeah, again, I mean, obviously, I don't get too involved in the player decisions and the personnel decisions. I do believe the moves we made this season set us up for success, and I think we saw that progress and that growth. These overtime games, these tight hockey games that we were finding our way onto the right side of. I don't think that's by accident. I think the group coming together the way that it did was all part of that. And it's really hard to pinpoint, right? You look at the Tampa series. I thought our top players really carried us in a lot of ways, certainly offensively, a lot of other areas as well, while the support guys did their job and found our way to grind through some tough situations and some competitive situations, and then now you move on to a Florida series, and now you need a little bit more offense and trying to find a way to get that one more goal. So as you go through the journey, you need to have as much depth and be as versatile as possible. I think that's ultimately the goal. You're trying to manage the group as best you can there. But I think the Kyle and the scouts and managers, I've had great trust in them and their process and continue to.
Last question.
How would you describe your relationship with the core four, and do you think you're getting enough out of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a strong one. We've been through a lot. I think we're able to have very honest discussions like we did here again today. And throughout the season, I think there's a lot of back and forth there. Players have responded well at times when being challenged and pushed. I think we've seen growth in each of their games. I look at, I feel like William Nylander had a career year this year, not just the numbers, but just also with how he performed. He's a guy that we've been really pushing and trying to get to get to this level. And I feel like he responded very well this season. The others have set a really high standard. And I thought, like I alluded to in the first round, they're a huge reason, why we move on. And then in the second round, they got a lot of really clean looks that they would expect that they would convert on, and they didn't. So I feel like a lot of things get magnified, of course, when the puck doesn't go in. The process was there. They're going through a lot of different things to get to those chances. And in terms of what I'm getting out of them, I look for body language, I look for work ethic, I look for competitiveness, I look for all those kind of things, and then you expect that their talent is going to be able to convert and take over. And sometimes that's the case, certainly in the Tampa. And in the Florida series, things dried up a bit for them, and we weren't able to play long enough for them to find their way through that.